Good morning, everyone. On today's show, we've got a lot of ground to cover. A lot of it regarding Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's launch yesterday. We've got to talk about the graphics. We got to talk about the audio. We got to talk about the gameplay. We got to talk about the performance of the streams. We got to talk about the future. Today, what I'd like to do is have a set, clear path of what we'll be doing in the month of March, considering today is the first day of the month. And I think you're going to be a big part of helping me with that. Plus, I think we may finally be able to nail in these microphone adjustments. So, all this and more on today's episode of the Level 1 Podcast. Well, normally I would say welcome to the show, but my internet crapped out with the podcast for a second there, and now it's coming back, but it's weird because it's not my internet, because my stream chat continued to work. So it was a YouTube side blip, it looks like. But it should be coming back. Welcome to the show, everyone. Everyone here live, sorry, you're going to have to probably reload your streams. Everyone who is here on demand, welcome to the show as usual. Today is Friday, the 1st of March, 2024. People are now asking me to replay the intro. What a unique intro, people are saying. Yeah, that was definitely YouTube, because it dropped, and then it came right back, and I didn't do anything, and basically I'm looking, and my chat never dropped, and my browser connection never dropped. My internet didn't go out. That was a YouTube blip on their end. So sorry about that, those who are there live, but it should be working now. If you reload the stream, it should work. My webcam is looking choppy on my end. I don't know if it looks choppy on your end, guys. Boy, we're just going to start today with tons of technical issues, won't we? Here's what I'll do. Let me see if I can fix this. Oops, that's not. I clicked completely on the wrong thing. Hold on. Where's the resolution? There it is. So let's do this. That massively dips my resolution and should readjust the frame rate. See that? Hello. Actually, it didn't. It looks like the frame rate is still choppy. What if I go full 480p? It still looks choppy. So you know what? It's either the computer, which I don't think it is. I think it's my preview window is looking choppy today for some reason. Whatever. I don't care. All right. Yeah, everyone's saying it looks smooth on there. It's weird. Sometimes my preview window looks really bad, and then people are like, no, the actual video looks good. Okay, anyway, welcome to the show, everyone. It's March 1st, and obviously, we are in the midst of a big new release, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I played it all day yesterday, okay? And today what I'd like to do is talk quite a lot about the game, the streams, and how everything went. Some interesting info to cover here for you all today, in regards to a lot of things. Now, the first thing I would like to address today, okay? You guys have always said that I had an issue with my audio. That for some reason, the audio on my streams was always very, very low. Okay? And I tried tackling this over the years and couldn't really figure it out. So, last weekend, actually, it was. All right? People said, can you just do something to turn up your mic? And I said, I'm nervous. If I turn up my mic, what's going to end up happening is the audio is going to get blown out. Because my device here, I think they call it an audio interface, basically shows as I'm talking that I'm kind of at the level. And basically right now, okay, if I talk even a little loud, like right now, it's showing as orange. And if I go even a little louder than that volume level, it goes red. All right. So I said, if I adjust it, I'm afraid it's going to blow out the mic, and you're going to hear it sound a lot more noise in the mic. I'm not going to sound as clear. But people wanted me to do it, so I did. The good news is my overall audio level has gone up. And people are actually saying that this week, all the videos I did sounded better because my overall audio is up. However, I have noticed there is blowout in the audio. So, for example, you ready for this? Everyone get ready because it's going to be loud. I'm going to do some testing. Okay? You ready? Please, so prepare. I'm going to be talking very loud in a few moments. Okay? 3, 2, 1. All right, so you see, now that I'm talking like this, it sounds blown out, doesn't it? See, when I talk louder, when I'm like this, and I'm like, oh, my God, oh, what the hell, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. It sounds blown out when I do that, doesn't it? Like it sounds way too loud, correct? And it didn't used to. It used to be a lot less of that, okay? So basically, if I talk at a normal calm level, everything's perfectly fine. But if I go loud, you see what happened? And people are agreeing with me in the chat. It basically blows out when I raise my volume level. Okay. What I'd like to do today is test something. Okay? So what I want to do, I want to overall, it's called clipping. Is that true, David? I guess David's saying the technical audio term is called clipping. Okay. What I'd like to do is lower my microphone level back down to where it had previously been, which is not that far off from where I am now. But what I want to do is I want to use OBS to artificially increase the decibel level of my microphone. And I want to see if that fixes it. Okay? Because if that's the case, we could still have louder audio on the stream, but it won't blow out. All right? So can we test it? Shall we? Let's do this. So I'm going to lower the microphone a little bit now. All right? From where it is. So let's do like maybe about this. Hold on. My audio level is going to go down. Okay? So everyone prepare for this. Here it goes. Okay, so I just lowered the mic, and now I'm talking, and as I'm talking, it's never hitting orange or red. It's always green. But now my overall mic volume is down, correct? I sound a lot lower now, correct? Okay, now here's what I'm going to do. Okay, hold on. People are saying it's a lot lower now. Okay, let's try something. So if I go into OBS settings, and if I go to my mic, and I'm going to increase the mic, okay, in the settings by, what should we do, 5? Try 5 decibels? Let's try 5 decibels. Okay? Okay, testing. How does it sound now? Because I've just artificially increased my mic level by 5 decibels. And I'm wondering if that increased it enough that it sounds similar to what it was. But it shouldn't blow out now. How does it sound? The same. It didn't increase. Try 10 decibels. Okay, let's try 10 decibels. Let's try that. Right now it's at 5. Let's go to 10. Okay, now it's saying it's 10 decibels. Does that sound any better? How does that sound? Let's test. I'll talk a little more. How does that sound? Better? Do I sound much louder now? That's a good level. That's a decent improvement. Okay. The key is we need to find the right balance. And it's funny because people are like, why don't you just do like a whole stream of this? Or why don't you do it off stream? First of all, it's impossible to do it off stream. It's easier to get live feedback from you guys than it is for me to try to do it offline, recording, playing back, right? Number 2, why would I do a whole stream? We have a podcast. Like, this is the whole point. We're here live together. Now is the opportunity to do this stuff, right? Like, this is the best time. You're here live. You're eager to help. You want things to get better, right? So what says now ambient noise is now noticeable? You're right. See, this is the thing. Like, what is the happy medium, right? You can't have it both ways. Now you're probably hearing, I don't have a fan on today, but today you can probably hear all, like, my PC. Right? You can probably hear the PC fans and stuff on over here. Probably. That's probably what you're hearing. And there's nothing I can do about that. You know, I don't know how to fix that. You know, if you want louder audio on the stream, you're going to end up hearing more of the ambient noise. You can add a background noise reduction to OBS to remove background noise. I mean, we could try. We would have to figure that out. Someone would have to, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Well, Now, that was interesting when I said, ha, ha, ha. Look. So what's happening there? Does that sound terrible? Because it maxed out the audio. It did. It went full red when I did that. Yeah, that was a plane outside. You definitely heard the plane. I'm curious. Let's try this. All right, so I'm talking from over here as I'm going to do when I'm playing a game. How does the commentary sound now? Let's do the type. Ha 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 ha. How does that sound? I'm just curious. It doesn't sound bad? Still sounds fine. Sounds a little distant, but fine. That's okay. Because now what we're doing is we're trying to adjust. Now the volume level's up. Now you got to adjust, you know. Some people are saying, well, the suggestion has been made. See, right now, the microphone's literally right in front of me as I'm talking. So it's perfect for the podcast. But when I'm playing games, I turn like this. And some people are saying, why don't you put the microphone here? Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, if I put the microphone here, it literally is in front of the camera. Like, it would be unavoidable. You would see this arm blocking the webcam. It would be in the shot. I don't have, like, a giant studio-level microphone situation where I can, like, have something coming off the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just it's a tripod arm. It's basic. It's good. I like it. I've used it for many, many years. But, you know, I don't have a real studio. I don't have a lot of room in here to do something like that. Like, I don't know how I would do it without the mic in the shot. It's always been this way, and people never really seem to care, you know. But yeah, the thing is, when you're working on a full upgrade of everything, you might as well mess with these things. So the only thing that I could really do would be to move it here. Like, I wouldn't put it here, but maybe here. The problem is, then when I do the podcast, it's going to be here, and it's going to be not in front of me. So it's kind of like perfect position for the podcast, but not for the gaming. Perfect position for the gaming, but not for the podcast. Right? Darziak says, maybe experiment with noise gate, noise suppression, and limiters through OBS audio filter. I guess I would have to see. Now, is that even default in OBS, or is that extras? Are those add-ons you have to get? I'm curious. So, by the way, so does this sound good now, this audio level for the microphone? Because the reason I'm really bringing this up, the last few days since I've adjusted the mic settings, okay? Number one, I am noticing when I play back my videos, blowout. I'm hearing it blowing out. I guess you guys are calling it clipping. And it's annoying me. Like, it's legit annoying me as I play back my video to listen and see what should I name this video. I'm like, oh, I hate it when it happens. It's grating. Like, shit, I really don't want that. You know, that's really annoying. But in addition, as I'm trying to figure out the individual audio levels of each game, they're all different. Like, for example, Baldur's Gate 3 was always really low. And then when I went to stream it, people were like, wow, we can't hear the game at all. And I was like, all right, so let's artificially increase it. So I think we settled at 4 decibels of boost, and then it seemed fine. So now with Final Fantasy yesterday, again, people were like, wow, the game sounds low. So we messed around, and I think we found 2 decibels was perfect to get the game audio in line. And we kept it at that for today, I believe. Yes, it's a 2 decibel boost for that. So that's working. But I guess what we really need to do is mess around with every single one. You know what I mean? Like, every game is going to be a little different. And now that I just did this again, I just adjusted the audio level of the microphone again. This could actually once again change things. Okay? So today when I boot Final Fantasy 7, I'm going to need your help to figure this out. All right? So a little bit of audio adjustments there. Hopefully overall, this makes the streams better. Obviously, I want my streams to sound louder, and it's been 10 years and people have always complained that I'm way too low. So obviously now would be a good time to fix that, right? Since now we're handling it, we're figuring out how to do it. So there you go. Okay, so now let's talk about Final Fantasy 7. Now is the time, all right? So yesterday, all day long, I played Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, okay? And I have a lot to say about it, all right? We played 5.5 hours between the 2 streams, almost 6 hours. First of all, I have some good news, okay? I'm not nearly as tired, exhausted, or frustrated today as I was yesterday. All right, yesterday, and you guys don't know, but I've had some personal stuff going on in my life. It messed with my schedule yesterday. I had to start my stream early. I had to end my stream early. I was literally yesterday, every moment of the day running around doing stuff. I had zero time to relax. I barely made it to do the stuff that I had to do. It was very, very stressful. All right. Now, of course, that had to be paired with a new game release. It's like doubling down on the stress levels. Okay. So basically, it's like I got to get up early. I'm rushing around, get the stream done. As soon as I'm done with the stream and I get the videos uploading, I got to run. I got stuff I got to do. By the way, during the time frame between the first and second streams, my power went out. For no reason. It was just like raining outside. There was no strong winds or anything. The power went out. So now everything in the house turned off. I had to get everything back up and running. The uploads were screwed up. I had to get the uploads re-going again. It was just like the biggest stress day. I'm like, come on, man. Like, if anything else could possibly go wrong, you know, I'm sure it would. And, you know, on top of all of that, it's a new release day, right? So you think, oh, new release hype. People are going to be really excited for a new release game, and you know they're going to come out in droves, and there's going to be good levels of views, engagement, support, and all of that. And you know the views were all right; they weren't great, but the views were decent for a premiere stream. And then you know I introduced this silly wig. Let's be honest, it's silly. Now me saying this wig is silly is not me being insulting or ungrateful. I'm joking because you see it is a silly wig, right? This is supposed to be a Cloud Strife wig, but let's be honest, it looks more like a 1980s. You know, Rod Stewart or like David Bowie wig than it does a Cloud Strife wig, correct? So I'm joking about this. And people are being like, wow, Phil is like insulting the viewer who donated a wig for his stream. No, I'm not. I think it's funny. I think it's funny because you look at, this is what you get off of Amazon. You literally have no clue what you're going to get when you order something off of Amazon. It's something I've been telling you guys over the years. Remember the red vest? When I ordered that vest, they said it was orange like Marty McFly's vest in Back to the Future. It's dark red. But that's the thing. Like, they always misrepresent stuff on Amazon for something it's not. So they said this was a Cloud Strife wig, and a fan buys it for me, and this is what shows up. It's hilarious. I think it's funny. You know, that's not insulting to the fan. That's just being observational of the wig. It's hilarious. It doesn't look like Cloud at all. It's kind of a silly wig. So anyway, we got this wig, right? And I said, you know, just as usual, if we hit our goal for the hat, which is, you know, the $100 of tips, on any stream, we do this every day. If we hit that, I'll put on this silly wig for the rest of the stream. Or as comfortable as I can be, because who knows? I literally haven't put it on yet. So I don't know how comfortable this thing would be, you know, we have to see. So anyway, you know, that was a running thing all day. And so, you know, we're streaming it, whatever. And basically, here's my take on the game in a nutshell, all right? The intro, I actually think they did the right thing, putting the Nibelheim intro, like the flashback first. But man, it kind of, for someone who's doing a playthrough or someone who's doing, you know, a stream like me, okay, as opposed to someone who's just playing the game for themselves. But when you are putting out a stream, okay, and you're trying to entertain an audience, you essentially want action and the real gameplay of the game to represent what the game is going to be right up front. Like, you want that immediately because you want people to get a taste of what the game really is, right? Perfect case in point here. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth really screwed it up, in my opinion. The entire first 5 hours of the game are cutscenes. There's literally like 2 times that you play it, and then everything else is just a cutscene. And it's like, who wants to sit around and watch a 5-hour movie when you bought a video game? You want to play a video game first. Now, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth has tons of gameplay later, but they kind of screwed up the pacing badly in that, okay? In the case of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like, I get why the Nibelheim part is first, so I really don't know how they could have done it better, but as for the first stream that I'm playing of the game, it is a little disappointing because you want to see someone get right into the meat of the game, and you can't. If you were playing Final Fantasy VII, as soon as you leave Midgar, you immediately hit the open world. You're exploring this overworld. You're fighting random enemies. You're trying out combat with your different party members, which is fun to do at first because it's the first time you really have access to flip your party members around and stuff like that. And, you know, then you get to a town, and then you get the cutscenes and stuff like that. So the fact that they jump right into it, into the flashback, is a little weird, admittedly. Like, I feel like it actually is kind of odd that they did it that way. Because you want to get into the pacing of the game, like action, and you don't. right? The gameplay you do during the Nibelheim part is not representative of the real game because you're playing as Sephiroth or Cloud, but they're level 40, and they have, you know, abilities, and they're just basically steamrolling all the enemies. And it's like, that's not a good representation of what the game's going to be when you actually get into it, I feel. If it's just like, kind of like you said, it's the demo. Like the demo that they released a few weeks ago, that's what it was. So maybe it should have just been the demo, right? It being the beginning of the game, I feel like is a misstep. But then again, I don't know how they would have wedged it in and make it work better either. It has to be in there somewhere. So anyway, once that's done, and you're done with the Nibelheim flashback, and you actually start exploring the town of Kalm, now you're like, oh, well, this is cool, because what they've done is they've taken a town that originally in the original game was just like 2D backgrounds and a bunch of 3D models and doors, right? It was all it was. You run in there, you buy some items, you have the Nibelheim flashback, and then you're done, you leave, and you're on to the next part of the game. Now it's this real town. It has all these people, townspeople, saying different like dialogues and stuff, which is really neat. You've basically got a new card game called Queen's Blood that they've added to the game that's totally different from any of the gameplay from the other Final Fantasy 7, you know, parts. It's different. It's just a new thing they've added in there on purpose, I feel, because other Final Fantasy games also had those kind of things, and now they have it in this one. There's some side questing and stuff to do, and they introduce a bunch of gameplay mechanics. So they introduce how to upgrade your weapons and get abilities out of them, your skill trees, which in this one, I can't even remember what they call it. Like, I've been watching Final Fantasy 13 recently, and they call it the Crystarium and that. Here, I can't even remember what they called it in this one, but it's the same thing. It's a skill tree, right? So they introduce all these mechanics, and then there's a whole new story segment that wasn't in the original game that they added. It's cool. I'm like, oh, it's a little new story arc here that's added that was not in the original. That's neat. To me, I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know, I want to see new stuff like that, right? Then you hit the open world, but it's not necessarily 100% representative of what the open world will be, because you're in a whole new world with no waypoints or anything. You don't know where anything is. So you're just kind of bumbling around a little bit, and it is kind of slow going on foot. So essentially what you should do is turbo forward to the next story point, because that's where you get a chocobo. And once you get a chocobo, now you can walk across the whole map much faster, and you run into Chadley. Chadley is the character, the android character from Final Fantasy VII Remake. He's the one who rebelled against Hojo, and he now wants to help you to map out points of interest in the world. So now there's going to be these towers in the world, you know, much like every single open world game ever, where you climb a tower, you go to the end, you use your magical eagle vision or detective sight or whatever the hell you want to call it, right? And then it unlocks all the waypoints in that region of the map. So that's how it's going to work in this game. You got to find the tower, power the tower, and now you're going to see all these interesting points of interest to go check out in the open world. So that's where we left yesterday. 5.5 hours, okay? And during that 5.5 hours, I probably used Cloud a few times in the open world combat. I switched over to Barret, and I realized, oh yeah, that's right. Pretty much every character in Final Fantasy VII Remake plays differently. You know, Cloud is very melee-based. Barret is all guns, so he's just shooting from a distance, and then he can overcharge, or he has other abilities where he like does rapid fire on a bunch of enemies, or he does like a big ball of energy he shoots out of his hand. It's like, oh yeah, I'm starting to remember now. I'm starting to get into the groove of how the game was in the first game. Same thing, you know, Aerith will be different with her magic, and Tifa, remember, has giant combos. So, oh, this will be neat, but you really don't get to use it that much yet. And so basically, when we ended the stream, I'm like, so now that we're ending 5.5 hours, a whole day of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, now we're actually getting into the real game. Where now you're going to be able to swap party members, you're going to be able to learn their abilities, you're going to be open world exploring, doing content in the open world, which is fun. But I'm like, oh, it took all day to get there, and I know what's going to happen is people are going to watch the first few hours of the game and be like, wow, this is boring. And, you know, again, this seems to be an issue with a lot of RPGs recently. Where the beginnings just aren't that strong because they're trying to either tell a ton of backstory right up front, right? Or for whatever reason. And that annoys me because I actually, now that we're getting into the real game, the open world, I was like, oh, this is actually looks like it's looking good, right? Excuse me. But I know that's what's going to happen is today we'll probably have a really good stream. Like today's session will probably be open world exploring, looking for all little side quests, maybe some mini bosses and things in the environment, leveling up a bit, getting new materia, getting new equipment, right? It's going to be a neat day of that. In fact, I don't even know, once we get the chocobo, I'm thinking maybe we shouldn't even advance the plot. Just explore for the first day, the first real day here. Just explore this whole new environment, this open world environment, and see what's in it. It could be a fun stream. So I'm cool with that, but I'm curious. Is it already too late? Are people who've only watched the first few hours say, oh my God, Nibelheim, all he did was mash buttons and he beat all the enemies, you know? And then I think that that's all it is, right? So, see, Blacky Cat says, I think Final Fantasy VII Remake had a better intro. You went straight into gameplay. You destroyed a building. You fought that scorpion boss right in the intro. Yes, I completely agree with you. 100% I agree with you. This game, because they wanted to do that Nibelheim first, feels like a diversion from what the game is, because it really is. Well, you're playing as 2 level 40 characters that decimate everything by button mashing. It doesn't feel representative of what the game's going to be. You don't really have to dodge or block or anything. You just button mash your way through it and pop healing items. While in the real game, it's going to be very different. I remember in Remake, at first it was like that, but then you have to learn how to time your parries, time your dodges. That's the only way you're going to beat tougher enemies, right? So anyway, I'm actually feeling very hopeful for today's stream. I think today's going to be more fun for us. I actually think we're going to explore more, level up more, learn the combat better, and do some fun stuff in this first open world area of the game. I think it's going to be really neat. So I hope you'll join me for that. I hope after the podcast ends, you don't dip. You know, stick around for a bit and let's see how the game is, right? I think that'd be fun to see how it gets implemented. So now that's me describing what I think about the game after day one. But there's a few things to be said. Like, for example, number one, the graphics of the game. People very legitimately are criticizing the graphics of this game because I'm playing it on performance mode on PS5. Okay, so 1080p. 60 frames, supposedly, and people are already saying when they were watching the stream, they were like, Phil, does the game have any kind of problems with the graphics? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, it looks kind of blurry or fuzzy. And I started looking, I was like, you're actually right. Like, when we were looking at the game itself, I'm not talking about my stream, I was looking at the game on my TV. When you actually, like, zoom in and you start looking at stuff, definitely the game is fuzzy. And I was like, whoa. You don't notice that when you're like in combat or action or moving, but when you stop moving and you just kind of look closely on performance mode, you'll realize the game legitimately is fuzzy. Like, I think they lowered the actual definition of everything in the environments so that it would run at a higher frame rate. But yeah, it legit does. And I was watching the videos back last night too, and I was like, yeah, the game actually is kind of fuzzy. And honestly, I don't think there's anything I could do about that. If I put it on graphics mode instead of performance, it goes down to 30 frames. And no one wants to see a new game like this, action-based RPG, at 30 frames. You know what I'm saying? You want to see 60? I want to see 60. So, it's weird that here we are, we're in 2024. This game is a console exclusive. This is not some cross-platform game where, we really had to cut corners to get it to run on everything. This is not on Xbox and PlayStation and PC and Switch. This is just PS5. All right? You're telling me in 2024, we still can't get a game to run at 60 frames per second without sacrificing tons of quality. Like, what is going on? And what's hilarious is we still have people now talking about, PS5 Pro, right? Well, I can't wait. The PS5 Pro, I bet they're going to have 8K. 8K. We can't even do 1080p 60 frames yet. And we were talking about 8K video. You want to talk about running way too far ahead before you've learned to properly walk, right? And this is just crazy. I've been doing YouTube for 16 years, and I still cannot tell you that I've gotten a console that 100% has delivered on the graphical performance that it promises. Every console has underperformed. They all claim it's going to be amazing, groundbreaking, smooth, and every console has issues, you know? So in this case, yeah, and I think this will be something because I want to play it on performance. I don't want to play it on a 30 frames per second mode, but I'm definitely noticing blurriness. And it's not my setup at all. It legit is the game on my TV. I totally called it out and noticed it last night. I was like, yeah, people said it, and then I started looking close. For sure. It's fuzzy. So, I guess we'll see. today if we notice it worse or not, you know, and we call it out or not. But that's definitely a thing, for sure. What I will say also, the audio balance of the game seems off. For example, the music is amazing. I think the music of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is beautiful. It's all the classic tracks from Final Fantasy VII completely remixed, orchestral. You know, Nobuo Uematsu, to have his music that was, you know, back in the day on a PS1 hardware to now be in full orchestra and everything. This must be amazing, right? I mean, it must be such an accomplishment. The guy's such a great life composer. He was doing it his whole life. And to have his work honored in this way must be amazing. It must feel so good for him to see his work is still being used so many years later in this way, this manner. It's like a grandiose improvement upon the original. So I think the soundtrack's outstanding. The problem is, when you get into combat, all of a sudden, all the audio of the game blows out. Like the music goes up, the combat audio goes up, everything's too loud. And people are like, so when you're out of combat, the game sounds perfect. Your voice is perfectly in line with the game. But as soon as you enter a battle, for some reason, the game's audio goes way too loud and we can't hear you talk at all. So anytime you talk during combat, no one can hear you. And I'm like, I don't know what to do about that. That's the game auto-adjusting the audio, creating that problem. That's not me or my setup. And if you look in settings, there's actually no way to fix that. All you can do is all sound effects, all dialogue, all music. It's not like combat and then outside of combat, it's all the same. So if we lower those settings, now you won't be able to hear anything outside of combat. So what's the happy medium here? I honestly don't know. It seems like this doesn't seem like a well polished game. It seems like it's a little rough around the edges, both graphically and with the audio right now. So, I'm not sure what to do. We can try today again, if you guys want me to try to adjust stuff, but we tried yesterday and couldn't figure it out. Like in the menu, there was no options for this. So I'm like, I don't know. You know, I don't know. I want to make this playthrough the best it can be. I want to represent this game the best I can. It seems like the game's kind of fighting me a little bit. It's annoying, okay? I guess we'll see what happens today. Now, the final thing, obviously, I want to talk about, all right? And this is a big discussion. Let's get it out now so we can figure this out. Yesterday, I streamed Final Fantasy VII Rebirth all day long, okay? First stream, second stream, 5.5 hours of gameplay. Big new release. This game people have been waiting for a long time. Me too, I told you. This is one of my most hyped games of the year for me. I want to see what they do with the plot. I want to see what they're going to elaborate on and add extra content to. This portion of the game is arguably the best portion of the game. This open world part where you start exploring new places, right? You go to Cosmo Canyon. You go to the dungeon over there. You go to the Golden Saucer. That's really fun. You get to the Temple of the Ancients and all that. This is all some of the best parts, right? So I actually feel like this is going to be really good, a really good playthrough, right? But attendance is great. Engagement is meh. And here's what I'll say meh. Some people are there and they're excited. And they're like, wow, it's a new game. And others, I hate to say it, you'll notice them every day now. They come in here and they're here literally just to crap on people, okay? Or crap on the game or crap on Bolt. They say everything is bad. It doesn't matter what game I'm playing. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. They always say, this is boring, this is bad. They're here on purpose. You know, these aren't regular viewers. These aren't fans. These are people who don't like me. And so they come in here under the guise of, oh, I'm just a new viewer, a common viewer. And then you say, I hate it, 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 right? And they do it on purpose. They're trying to bring down the level of the stream so that people now will see people around them. Oh, why are people so annoyed and bored? Oh, I don't, you know, this is kind of a toxic atmosphere. It's done on purpose, okay? So I try to be nice. I try not to take action as soon as I see it. You know, you want to see if it's something legit or not. But you notice a pattern, and definitely yesterday, it was a huge pattern. There was a bunch of new people in the chat trying to bring down the streams, okay? And I'm not going to have it at this point. Like, if you don't like Final Fantasy VII, I get it. If you're just sitting in the stream dumping on the game saying, it's boring, I hate this, you're gone. There's no point in being here. You're gone. I'm going to kick you out. You know, people want to hang out and have a good time with the new game. They don't want to hear people say, I don't want this. Could you play Baldur's Gate 3? Could you play another game? Could you play Helldivers? Who's playing Helldivers? Never was that ever in my radar, nor is it a game that I'm going to play. I'm not interested in it. I'm not considering it. You sitting here saying play another game like Helldivers, you're an idiot. You're really wasting your own time and everyone's time. You stop and move on and go watch someone else play Helldivers, right? We're here to have a good time with the game that I'm playing, and it's a good game. So let's stop with the nonsense, right? So, FYI, I noticed that yesterday, and it was bringing down the vibe of the stream a bit, okay? And there were some other idiots who basically were doing something like this. Oh, you know, Phil's fan was so nice to buy him that wig. I wish he would just toss it on right now. I wish that he would do it for a lower amount. I wish that he would do this or that, you know. And it's like, the whole idea of putting on a hat or a wig or something, it's always been part of my streams for how many years now? Since 2020. 4 years, all right? You know how it works. You know that there's tiers. You know that there's things, it's involved. It's a silly thing for incentive for people to support a stream, for me to do something silly like this, right? And by the way, YouTube loves picking a thumbnail of me holding this. Both videos yesterday that I put out with me holding the wig, this became the thumbnail. So it's probably going to do it again, okay? But anyway, like, this is nothing new. This is a common practice of any streamer to have goals and stuff, incentives, rewards on their streams. Everyone's okay with it. In fact, everyone was okay with it until yesterday, because yesterday people wanted to see me put on the silly wig. What didn't happen yesterday? A lot of support. The streams were slow. The first stream, we barely hit the tier 1 tips goal. The second stream, we didn't. We only made like 20 bucks, right? And everything else too, like some super chats, membership. I think we had 3 memberships all day, and super chats were just okay, but not great. It was like for a premiere of a new game, it was ridiculously slow. Like, we never have a premiere of a new game that's that slow, all right? So you got to wonder what happened. And I think, you know, I have a few theories that I think are pretty valid. I think, number one, there's just too many RPGs right now. I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 for 2.5 months. I was playing Sea of Stars, and I put it on hiatus just to start playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, right? How many RPGs can possibly be supported at once? It's RPG overload. And by the way, I skipped a bunch. I skipped Persona 3. I skipped Grand Blue Fantasy. It's ridiculous, all right? Now, if you're an ultra fan of RPGs, that's one thing, but I'm a variety streamer. People like coming by DSPGaming to see what Phil's up to today. Is he playing an RPG, or is he playing an action game, or is he playing a fighting game, or is he doing something random? They like that. That element is good, and it's good because we bring in a variety of people to these streams. I say we because I feel like it's us together. It's not the royal we. It's us together. It's a community effort, right? It really is. It's not just me doing this. It's me and all of you guys hanging out, having a good time together. That's what success really is. So quite frankly, I do feel like we are RPG'd out. And that's a shame because, number one, these RPGs are all lengthy and I'm not done with them yet. I can't just drop them or skip them because then everyone will complain that I've missed out on the biggest releases, right? That's number one. Number two, there's more coming. I know. And I'm going to be honest, right now, as a result of this whole feeling of like RPG burnout, because there's just too many RPGs at once, I'm strongly considering skipping Dragon's Dogma 2. And I know that's sad because I like Dragon's Dogma 1. I was a champion for the game when a lot of people actually didn't like it as much. I thought Dragon's Dogma 1 was amazing. I played the crap out of it. And, you know, Dragon's Dogma 2 is right around the corner in 3 weeks. And now I'm like, maybe I shouldn't play it. Or maybe we should save it for later at a time when finally RPGs have calmed down. How am I going to be playing 4 RPGs at once, man? It's too much. And again, it's the industry has to start looking at itself instead of only living in like a tunnel, because that's what I feel like all these games are doing. These game developers are making a game and they live in a tunnel where they think their game is the only game being made, and it's not. You know, how many games these game developers just convinced themselves they were making the absolute best game out there and it was going to sell no matter what, and then they come out and it's like RPG, 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 RPG. What the hell? There's too many. They're too long, too many, too similar, right? How many can you stand? I like RPGs, and I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm getting burnt out on them now. And that's crazy for me because I'm the kind of guy that, like, usually I can play all these, but this is like RPG overload, man. Like, we're all going to get tired of them. And that's the worst thing that could happen is you don't want to play any more of something you like because you're so tired. It would be like if every day you're eating a new burger. Today, you ate a Five Guys burger. Tomorrow you ate an In-N-Out burger. Then you ate a Burger King burger. Then you ate a McDonald's burger. Then you ate a The Habit burger. Then you ate a Red Robin burger. Even though they're all different kinds of burgers, eventually you're going to get tired of burgers. You want something else. You can't just keep doing the same thing every day. You're fucking tired of that shit. And that's what I feel like. It's getting ridiculous now with these RPGs. So, yeah, I'm honestly thinking that we need to start moving on from this and do variety stuff. The question is what? The good news is later this month there is variety. We've got the Star Wars Battlefront collection coming out around the middle of March. That's completely different. And it's a classic tried and true series that was super duper good back in the day. Even if I only play it for random multiplayer, I think it's still going to be fun for variety purposes. And then you've got Rise of the Ronin, which feels to me like it's going to be something refreshing and different. It's combat, it's stealth, it's ninja style. When I say ninja style, it's actually a samurai style stuff, right? It's going to be fun. I feel something different to break all this up and not just be an RPG. So we've got variety coming. And what I really need to do is I do need to sit down and I need to look at everything else coming out in the schedule because I haven't done that in a long time. And I think that we're going to do that likely around the same time that we do my birthday event in early April. So about 1 month from now, we're going to probably sit down and do a birthday marathon. And we'll probably go through the entire schedule of games coming out and pick out the ones that I'm interested in and you're interested in seeing me play. And that'll give us a better idea of the landscape of what we'll be doing for the next several months. Okay. But yeah, like right now, I actually am starting to really significantly think that Dragon's Dogma 2 is a bad idea. That the timing is just not right. It's too much already in the RPG landscape and another one on top. Even though Dragon's Dogma 2 is very different. It's action-based. It's a lot of climbing on enemies and hitting weak points in an action-based environment similar to, say, like you ever seen Shadow of the Colossus? So think of that just on a much smaller scale. You know, there's big monsters, but you climb them, you're hitting them in weak points with magic and attacks. It's neat. Like, I really liked Dragon's Dogma 1, but again, RPG, leveling, party members, fantasy. It's like, oh my god. You know what I mean? Like, I know that Rise of the Ronin is listed as an action RPG, but I'm telling you, if you look at it, it doesn't nearly look like what you're thinking is an action RPG. Like, they say that Dark Souls is an action RPG. Do you really think Dark Souls is an RPG in the vein of what we're playing right now? Of course not. You see, it's different. So, anyway, that's what I'm talking about here. Like, I think we might have to, but now I guess we'll talk about that. All right. Over the course of this month, we still have 3 weeks to figure this out. Okay. But yesterday was the big premiere day for Final Fantasy VII, and the support was really slow for a new release. And it's like, if that was day one of this game, is this going to be representative of how it's going to be every day when I play this game now? And if that's the case, that's not good. You know, I've already explained to you guys, I'm hurting bad right now. Financially, I took a big hit. And now what's going to happen is around the third week of this month when I get paid by YouTube, my pay is going to be way lower than what I usually make. And it's because all my memberships went away. Like, no exaggeration, it's a ton of lost revenue. And other things as well that factored in because in the month of February, there were no real new releases. You know, Tekken 8, Like a Dragon, they're good games, but they didn't catch on. And because of that, everything kind of stagnated in February. And listen, I'm not complaining. I still had a great time in February. I think we all did. But we're looking for new stuff now, right? We want people to come in and check out the new stuff, and there has to be new stuff. That's not just another RPG that feels the samey thing again. You know what I mean? So right now, this is the worst possible time for me to have low support on a brand new release, and it happened. It's like, well, nothing I can do about it now, you know? So here's the deal, all right? You know, Baldur's Gate 3, we're in Act 3. We actually started Act 3. We're about 10 hours into it now. And we're in Baldur's Gate. We're unlocking quests. We're doing all this stuff. And every time I play Baldur's Gate, we've gotten great support, right? It cannot be denied. Even though, definitely, the viewership on the Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough has dripped dramatically. You know, when I started with Baldur's Gate 3, we were getting thousands of people. Now, you could barely get 300 on a video, right? But it's because it's a 102-part playthrough and continuing. So, the thing is, though, I'm getting support for it. And what we might have to do, my original plan was that I wanted to play the living heck out of Final Fantasy VII. Because I wanted to get as far as I could in the game before new games came out. Before Rise of the Ronin and before Dragon's Dogma 2. But if we're seriously considering skipping, say, Dragon's Dogma 2, then maybe it's not that big of a deal. And I don't need to rush Final Fantasy VII as much. Right? If that's the case. So really, if that is the case, maybe I should split it. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I should split it and we should be more evenly balanced and alternate streams. One stream Final Fantasy VII, one stream Baldur's Gate 3. One stream Final Fantasy VII, one stream Baldur's Gate 3. Because right now, like this week, I was going to play 17 hours of Final Fantasy VII. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe what I should do is do an extra stream of Baldur's Gate 3 this week and then just go back and forth between the two. You know what I mean? So, let's see what happens. All right? Here's the deal. I'm not changing the schedule right now over the weekend. Today, Saturday, and Sunday are going to remain the same no matter what. The first day that we'll consider changing the schedule will be Monday. So, let's now get into this segment of the stream where I talk about this. So, let's do the schedule. Today, more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for sure. Let's explore this first open world area now. We got to get a chocobo. We were working on that, and then somehow we got distracted, but we've talked to Chadley, and Chadley's going to unlock the map areas for us. This should be a fun stream with 3 hours of exploration of the first major area of the game, questing, items, boss fights, etc. Let's see what's in the environment, okay? Then tonight, on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, it is Friday Night Fights, Tekken 8, Yoshimitsu in the red ranks again, and what's funny is, I titled the stream, Let's Get Yoshimitsu to Purple Rankings. And someone actually left a comment and said, he really thinks he's going to hit purple soon? That'll never happen. And I'm thinking to myself, number one, we were actually only a few wins away from hitting purple. I was in the last ranking of red. And once you hit a ranking in red, all you need is like 3 wins, solid wins, and you can jump right to the next level. But then I actually got beat up. And I got demoted back to the middle of red, okay? So I do need solid performance to do better there in Tekken 8. That's true. But the thing is, and I've told you guys this, all right? In life, whenever someone tells me I can't do something, or I'm not going to do something, or I'm not good enough to do something, that always puts a fire in me to then prove someone wrong, right? So to me, when you say, you're not making it purple, what are you, crazy? You're not good enough to do that. That immediately says, no, I'm going to make purple. I'm absolutely getting purple sooner rather than later, whether it's tonight, whether it's maybe the next session. But absolutely, I'm making purple now at Yoshimitsu because you said that. Now, you've motivated me to do it. Now, after purple, I think that's actually going to be a hard sell because once you get into the blue ranks, that's when people are really good at the game. And I know I'm not really good at Tekken. It's going to take me a long time to get there. So I don't know if I'll even hit blue. But purple, I am absolutely motivated to hit it. What's funny, you're saying the undershirt keeps peeking every time you go to the left. It's not the undershirt. For some reason, this shirt is white on this side under the buttons. I don't know why they didn't color it. See, it's white. So the shirt's fine, but you're right. Then if I move see? I don't know why they made it white under the buttons. I don't know. I like the shirt, though, so I'm going to keep wearing it. I don't really care. Nice observation there, though, Drew Corporation. Anyway, so... Anyway, yeah, I'm going to hit that purple. Hopefully, I'll hit it tonight. If I don't, probably later this week. It would be great to hit purple. I don't know, but I'm definitely strongly working on doing that, okay? Tomorrow will be more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth paired with Like a Dragon Infinite Well, okay? So those schedules aren't changing. Sunday is React Day. So all day Sunday, okay, I'm doing reacting. First, it's going to be DSP versus the Internet on DSP Reacts, the clip show. And then at the night, it's going to be... Retro React on DSP Throwback. I'm going to be reacting to Heavy Rain. And so far, it's going really well. Like Heavy Rain, we're having a great time with it, right? I think we're reaching part 20 of the playthrough, and the playthrough is around 50 parts. So arguably, we might actually hit like around the halfway point or a little further into the Heavy Rain playthrough on Sunday night. So I hope you guys will join me for that. You guys have really liked those streams so far. I love them too. And then Monday, here's the day where things are up in the air. Monday's daytime stream was again going to be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But maybe instead, I should do Baldur's Gate 3 on Monday. Monday night, I'm not streaming no matter what. On Monday night, I have to work on some personal stuff. So no stream on Monday night at all. Tuesday will be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Tekken. And then Wednesday will be Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. So maybe that's what I should do is have, instead of all these Rebirth streams, on Monday do Baldur's Gate 3 instead as the one stream that I do for the day. Okay, and then moving forward, next week, basically alternate. We'll have one day Final Fantasy, one day Baldur's Gate. One day Final Fantasy, one day Baldur's Gate. And going back and forth, that way it's not too much overload, right? Of any of those games. Either of those games, I should say. All right? So, let me know what you think about that. But I think that might be the way to go moving forward, is to alternate between the two to avoid burnout. Okay? And again, that's the thing, is if I'm not really gung-ho for playing Dragon's Dogma 2 at launch anyway, then it doesn't matter if we don't rush through Final Fantasy VII this month, right? If we go at a slower pace, that's okay then, right? And also, let's be honest, if I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 and alternating with Final Fantasy, and if the Baldur's Gate 3 streams continue to get the level of support that they've gotten, right, it takes pressure off of me to have to worry about, oh no, because I'm playing so much Final Fantasy VII, now, you know, my income's going to take a hit this month or something like that, you know? And it's the last thing that should be on my mind. I should just be entertaining myself and the audience and not having to worry about that, but it's a major concern. I wish it wasn't, but it is. This whole thing with the memberships completely screwed me over this year so far. You know, it's an ongoing problem. So, you know, take perfect example. So this morning, I got a bunch of tips I'm going to shout out. Have not had a single super chat. Have not had a single membership. Not a single re-upping of a membership. So you see? And this has been a running pattern for 2 months now. Where ever since the fake membership started, it's like the YouTube side contributions are very, very diminished. And that's horrible. Like, that's something that it's part of my business. It's dependent, and it's gone. For some reason, it's just, like, vanished. But people are still supporting. It's just a lot of tips, but what happened? You know? I think a lot of people are just sitting around thinking, I'm just going to get a free membership eventually, so I'm just never going to buy one, right? And then same thing, I don't know what happened to Super Chats. I guess we'll see what happens moving forward. I hope this month things turn around. It might be, simply put, this month, like I said, in February, I was playing the same games all month. So a lot of people weren't into it, and now they'll be coming back for new games in March. I don't know. You know, I don't know. But hopefully things do turn around this month, because this is very bad right now, and I'm nervous. You know, and I don't like being nervous. I don't like talking about being nervous. I just want to play games and enjoy stuff with you guys. It's not something that I did. I didn't change my content and ruin it, and it sucks now. And I didn't say something awful that pissed everyone on the internet off. This is literally a bunch of fucking trolls found a loophole in YouTube to screw my business over. That's it, literally 100% the root cause of the problem. It wasn't that I made a horrible change or I made a big mistake or Phil sucks. It's trolls. And that's bullshit. That now my business is affected by that. You know? I hate when he'll be the maker of his own downfall. Well, no. Actually, no. It'll be people fucking with my income constantly behind the scenes that'll fuck me over. Not anything that I did wrong. I didn't create YouTube's membership system. I didn't break it. All right? I didn't find the loophole. They did, you know? Anyway, so that's what's going on right now. All right? I think what we'll do, let's leave the schedule as is for now. Let's do Final Fantasy VII and Tekken today, Final Fantasy VII and Like a Dragon tomorrow, all React today on Sunday. Monday, let's see what happens. But I am thinking bringing Baldur's Gate 3 back on Monday makes sense. And then Tuesday, Final Fantasy VII and Like a Dragon. And then Wednesday, Baldur's Gate 3 and, well, actually, Tuesday is Tekken. I'm not going to stop reiterating the schedule because I'm going to keep screwing it up if I keep doing that, okay? But, yeah, I think that's what we're going to have to do, all right? Dr. Oink continuing to have problems playing Steve in Tekken 8. I'll shout that out in a minute here. Okay. Okay, so there you go. That's what we're doing this week. I hope that sounds good. Thank you to everyone who is going to check out all the content. Hopefully, the rebalancing of the schedule a little bit, bringing back Baldur's Gate on Monday instead of so much Final Fantasy VII, will do a little better. Hopefully, that makes sense because we don't really need to be rushing Final Fantasy VII as much if I'm not going to be doing Dragon's Dogma 2 at launch. But let's see, okay? And let's continue and see what happens moving forward, all right? Okay, that's that. The only news today, there is one quick gaming news story before we get to shout-outs, because I want to get to shout-outs because we got a lot of them. Let's do a very quick gaming news segment. Toys for Bob. This is the game development company that made the Crash Bandicoot and Spyro Trilogy remakes and then Crash Bandicoot 4. So they made all the Crash Bandicoot content recently plus Spyro. And those games did well. All right? They were bought out by Activision. And promptly after publishing those games and making tons of money, Activision decided, now you're just going to be repurposed to make content for Call of Duty. We don't need you to make any other games that are good. We just want you to make crappy Call of Duty content. So they did. That's literally all they've done for years. And then when Activision announced this sweeping wave of job cuts, they laid off a bunch of the people from Toys for Bob. So it's like, let me get this straight. We do a great job making games that sell well, and you purposefully tell us don't make those games anymore. Instead, make content for your stupid every year iteration of an FPS game. We do what, begrudgingly, we do what you tell us to do because you own us, and then you lay us off anyway. Right? It's like, what kind of treatment is that? So, Toys for Bob has made the decision they're going independent. They're leaving Activision. And right now, what they actually said is, and what a flip on this, listen to this, they're actually now looking in talks to make some content for Microsoft. So basically to think about this. What if Crash Bandicoot ends up on the Xbox? Now that would be a flip, right? I mean, for the longest time, it was very controversial that Sonic would be on a Nintendo console because they were direct rivals in the 1990s, right? Sega versus Nintendo. Well, it's actually looking interesting. Perhaps, Crash Bandicoot could end up flipping and actually being like an exclusive game on Xbox, and it's not on PlayStation anymore. At one point, Crash Bandicoot was like the mascot for PlayStation, right? I mean exclusive to Xbox. Some people are saying, well, it's already on Xbox. I mean exclusive to Xbox, like a complete console flip, a complete platform flip, right? That would be interesting to see that happen. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But, I mean, good on them. I mean, that's ridiculous. They did such a good job. Both the Crash Bandicoot trilogy and the Spyro trilogy were amazing games. I played and loved both of them. And to say, oh, don't make the games you're good at anymore. This is the equivalent of BioWare being forced by EA to make Anthem. They didn't want to. They were like, if we're going to make this, we're good at RPGs. Let's put RPG elements into the game. And then EA said, no, do this, this, and this. They said, but that's just Destiny. And we don't want to make a Destiny knockoff. We want to make an original game. And EA said, literally to them, don't ever mention Destiny again. Just do what we tell you. And then Anthem came out, and look what happened. So let these studios cook. Let them do what they're good at, right? Stop having gourmet chefs make French fries, right? Let the gourmet chef make the gourmet food that they're good at and make profits on it. Stop telling them to do junk, right? Anyway, I guess we'll see what happens for Toys for Bob. I wish them the best, and I hope that actually they do well as an independent developer because they deserve it. Okay, let's get the shout-outs, shall we? So we start off today with Spider Dijon, who re-upped his membership for 13 months and said, what? So thank you, Spider Dijon, for that. Dr. Oinkberg with a $5 super chat, and he's very upset. He says, Tekken 8 has to be the worst, most unbalanced fighting game I've ever played. It's completely god-awful, terrible game. I'm a Steve main, and the game is shit. I guess people are saying that Steve sucks in this one, right? Like, in old school Tekken, like Tekken 4, when he was first introduced, he was one of the best characters in the game. He was, like, broken in that one. I remember, I didn't play Tekken that much anymore at that point. Was it Tekken 4 or 5? It was 4 that he was introduced in, right? I think. I just remember whichever game Steve was introduced in, he was way good in that one. Like, overpowered compared to the rest of the cast. He would counter hit everything you did because all his punches were ultra fast and would just turn into like crumples and stun combos. And then over time, I guess what's happened is they've either weakened him or the other characters have just gotten so good around him that he's not that good anymore. I've fought a few good Steves, and it really does seem to me like what they do is they just try to stagger you, catch you with like a counterpunch and stagger, and then get a combo. Like, that he definitely doesn't have as many tools as a lot of the other cast does. I'll agree there. He seems more like a catch you gimmick character in the game. But again, I'm not really the person to be commenting on it. I'm not great at Tekken. You know, I don't really know. But sorry to hear of your plight, Dr. Oink there. Girl wearing purple. Thank you for re-upping your membership there. I appreciate it. And Spider Dijon just gifted a membership to the community, and it went to Turtle Dude. Congrats, Turtle Dude, on getting a membership back. Awesome. By the way, last night, I gifted out all 10 of the memberships that I was able to gift for the month of February. Every month, basically, I get 10 memberships to gift. So I gifted those out last night. I'm just curious how often they let me do it. Ah, they reset it. Cool. I was curious when they do it. They actually do it on the 1st of the month. Because as of right now, I have 10 more memberships to gift out. Okay? But I'm going to hold them for now. I just gifted out 10 last night. So I'm going to hold them for now. And we'll see when we want to do it. Maybe later this month when a new release, maybe Battlefront or like Rise of the Ronin. Maybe for those playthroughs, I'll give some memberships out. So there you go. Thank you, Spider Dijon, for the legit gifted membership. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's swing over to the tip side of things. We have a lot of tips to shout out today. We start off with an overnight tip. I received a $25 anonymous tip overnight, and someone said, keep going strong. So thank you very much to the anonymous overnight tipper. I appreciate that. Let's see if the animation plays. No. Token has expired, so I might have to refresh and re-get a new token here. Let's see. Yeah, it didn't. I'm logged out. That's exactly what it is. I'm logged out. Okay, let's re-log in. It happens. Okay. All right, maybe now it'll work. Let's find out. Try it again. And there we go. Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much to the anonymous overnight $20 tipper. And indeed, I will keep going strong. I shall keep going and persevering, and I thank you so very much for that. Anonymous overnight tipper, whoever you may be. Okay. Continuing on. Epic Kirk Rebrushed tipped me $1. He says, I'm watching your Final Fantasy VII video on demand. It's strange. People are talking about me and saying falsehoods. They're saying I'm in chat. I haven't been in chat for weeks. Are you believing these lying people? Listen, I don't know. The truth is, there's been people in chat who are saying stuff, and people are saying, oh, that's Kirk. Oh, that's Kirk. Well, I don't care if it's Kirk or not. Like, I don't give a shit. You know, the rules are the rules. No one is immune to the rules. So if someone comes into the chat and they're saying stuff that could be construed as racist or whatever, they get removed. All right? So Kirk is saying, oh, that wasn't me. Listen, you know, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but it doesn't really matter. Whoever it is in the chat doing it, it's not someone whose name says Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's people coming in and saying stuff that you know is not allowed. And I think people at this point, sadly, are just associating that with Kirk because he did it a lot, you know, when he was in chat or whatever. He's saying it's not him. He's basically saying these are people impersonating him on purpose, okay? Well, if we see it, we'll just remove it. It's that simple. And it's not going to affect me talking to Kirk in a tip anyway. So there you go. Okay. Continuing on. Sarah tipped me $1. Says, yesterday you did seem very much on edge. You were concerned about support. Hopefully today you can be more focused on enjoying the game. I told you, like, yesterday I was already on edge. Like, my schedule was messed up because I had to get up early to do my stream early because I had personal stressful stuff going on behind the scenes. And then on top of that, it's a big new release day. And obviously you saw what happened with the support. So it was like just everything compounding at once. Yeah, I'm a human. And it sucks. I wish I was immune to that, right? I wish that I was a bigger streamer to the point where it doesn't matter that you have a slow release day. But I'm not. Like, I'm hurting right now badly because of the gifted membership thing. So it's like just compounding everything on top of it and making everything worse. And yeah, I know. Yesterday I was really stressed out. I felt awful too. Like I felt like shit all day. I felt tired and just beaten and worn and stressed, and yeah, those are terrible. Today I feel much better. I got a much better rest tonight, or last night, and I'm fully, geared up today for a better day. I'm feeling more positive today. I don't know what you mean. Eternal Apom says, I tried to watch your Final Fantasy VII Rebirth videos after your first stream. YouTube wouldn't let me. What do you mean? YouTube wouldn't let you. What does that even mean? The videos are live right now. They have views on them. They're not restricted. So I don't know what you mean, Eternal Apom. Why couldn't you watch them? I don't know. Can anyone else collaborate or explain what that means? Or is anyone else having issues? I only know these things when you guys tell me. I don't get notice from YouTube on anything. It was blocked. They were live for an hour, but they said unavailable. I mean, like I said, there's views on them now. So I'm assuming that everyone can see them. Can everyone see the videos? It doesn't say blocked. It doesn't say unavailable. Public worldwide. I don't know. As long as you guys can see them, I don't know how else I could fix that. That sounds weird, man. I wouldn't put it past YouTube to say that they screwed it up again. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be shocked to hear that. So, okay. All right, continuing on. I received a $10 tip from work. I'm loving the game. Queen's Blood is super boring. I say skip those. Have a great weekend. Yeah, so I played about a half an hour, all right, of this card game, Queen's Blood. And people give me shit. And, I'm gonna say something here. All right? You have to understand something from my perspective. No matter what I do, people say I'm doing the wrong thing. Okay? In previous games, for example, in Witcher 3, or other Final Fantasy games, or other fantasy RPGs, okay? Typically, I skip that kind of content. And I'll just turbo through it or not do it. I've said outright in other games like this, I don't like them, so I'm just going to skip it. And I got shit for it. People are like, wow, you really missed out on content in the game. You rushed through the game. You skipped this. And it sucks because we like to see you be fully immersed. And it's obvious you're not fully immersed. You skipped out on the content put in there, right? And, basically the way I see it is, all right, well, here's a new one. Here's a brand new card game literally created just for this game, right? It didn't exist before this. It's brand new. I'll give it a shot. And at first it's a little tricky. Then you get the hang of it. But there's 3 matches you have to do in the town of Calm. And the third one's hard because the guy has, like, really good cards. So you just basically have to get luck of the draw so he doesn't have the constant cards to put down to destroy your hand or whatever. So, I did the first one and I like steamrolled through it. Okay. The second one, it took me like 2 tries. And I got to the third one and people were like, oh my God, why are you still doing this? I'm like, because it's in the game. It's content in the game. It was designed for this specific town. You're supposed to do it now. How I know you're supposed to do it now is because the town locks once you leave it. You can't go back right away. So if you don't do those card games now, you're locked out of doing them for this portion of the game. So you're supposed to do them while you're there, right? And people are like, oh, well, why are you playing this game? Then, seriously, if I didn't do it, everyone would have complained, why did you skip the content? It's there to be enjoyed, and you really missed out on this content that's in the game. Why'd you skip it, right? So then I play it, and everyone complains, wow, why are you playing this? You've killed the momentum of the stream. It's boring. It's like, do you not understand, like, no matter what I do, people complain? Like, seriously, no matter what I do, it's like, hey, here's the one time I decided I will do it, because I've always gotten complaints that I don't do this content, so let's do it. Complaints anyway. I just don't know what to say. If you guys don't want me to do Queen's Blood at all, I'll skip it. I'm pretty sure it's just side content, right? Maybe if you beat them all, you get like a materia or something at the end of it. But it's up to you guys what you want to do. If I keep playing the game and we get to the next Queen's Blood and you say, don't do it, then I won't do it. you know? But I'm just trying to make a playthrough that's meaningful, that has the content of the game explored in it, so you see what it is, you know? It just seems like, though, no matter what I do, it's just not good enough. Everyone just wants to sit here and complain. Like I said, you get those negative people who came by the stream yesterday purposefully on release day just to be a dicks and be like, oh, it's terrible no matter what. The playthrough sucks, right? So when you get that element, you can't really judge what's legit and what's not. It's sad, but I wish I could. But how do you judge legit when you have people who are just here to take a dump on the stream anyway, right? So, you know, let me know. Exactly. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Let me know what you want moving forward. If you want me to skip it, I'll just skip it. I don't care. At this point, you know, and that's the sad fact is when I do one thing and I get criticized, so I do the opposite and I still get criticized, I just don't care anymore. You make me numb. You make me numb to it all. So I just don't give a shit. I don't care about the card game now. So if you want me to do it, I'll do it. If not, I'll skip it. I don't give a fuck. You know, if people are just going to bitch about it, then why would I care? I can't win either way. So just write it off, whatever, right? And just move on with your day. So there you go. Let's see here. Ansu Kamaru to the $1.50. They said, JRPGs on your streams don't do well. Your everyday audience don't really have patience for them. The vast majority of people would much rather play a JRPG than watch one. You should try experimenting with new mechanics like the parry. I want to do that. I want to do that. And it feels like the combat, I haven't really done enough of it to really focus on it yet. But I think the parry seems interesting. All the new synergy attacks and the revamped air combat. The revamped air combat, what's confusing me, like I don't understand how to do it. It seems like you got to dash. Like the circle button, you dash to the enemy and then you could do it or something. It's confusing though. Remake didn't have parries. It's a unique feature to Rebirth. Remake had that's right. Remake had the perfect timed dodges, right? This game has dodges and parries, right? Okay, so there's a lot to absorb. There really is. There's a lot to absorb in this new game. And again, seems like today would be the day to focus on that. You know, yesterday, not so much. Now we're in the first major open world chunk we can focus on that and, you know, and do and learn it. So, I received another $1 tip here. From Epic Kirk Reborn. The Cloud Wing looks like a Tribble. Yes, the Tribble from Star Trek, of course. Okay. I received another $1 tip from a troll. So just ignore that idiot. I received a $5 tip from Dan the Man. Thank you, Dan the Man, for a $5 tip this morning. Let's get an animation for you, Dan. It's good to see you here. Welcome, welcome. And thank you for the support. Oops, there we go. All right, now let's refresh everything over here. All right, and this is correct here. Good. All right, I received a $25 tip from 1 Minute Man. He says, as you said yesterday and today, it is tough being a streamer. These studios release a bunch of similar games within a short span. Picking the right one can be tricky. It's like a Sophie's choice. Remember, you're facing a difficult dialogue option, but remember... Oh, I don't know what the hell that means. And then it says, be safe. To be safe, never joke about looking a gift horse in the mouth. Okay? I don't know what any of that means. I think he's talking about... I think these are more Baldur's Gate references. 1 Minute Man is always referencing Baldur's Gate, and it always goes right over my head. Thank you for the $25 tip, 1 Minute Man. Yeah, I don't even know. He's referencing stuff. He's like, there's a difficult dialogue option, and don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm like, huh? Okay. Anyway, thank you. As always, 1 Minute Man, for your support. With that tip, we're up to $69 in tips for today. We haven't even started the game, and today we have more support than we had all day or all stream yesterday. Yeah. So there you have it. Thank you very much, everybody. And now we're going to switch back over to the YouTube side of things. I had to finish up all the tips. Okay. I'm going to have to clean these. Let's see here. Spider Dijon gifted his second membership. That one went to Bucket Kitten. Thank you, Spider Dijon, for the gifted memberships this morning. I appreciate those. That will help a lot. Let's see here. Bloom Kit did a super chat and says, just a suggestion. Maybe you can do top super chat on the leaderboard. It seems kind of lame. A huge super chat can get wiped off the board quickly. Bloom Kit, we talked about this. I would love to do that, but it's a shortcoming of YouTube, and allow me to explain. YouTube does not convert super chats. So because of that, someone could do a super chat that's $5. Someone could do a super chat that's €5. Someone could do a super chat that's £5. And someone could do a super chat that's 5 rubles, 5 pesos, 5 rupees, whatever, right? And I have no idea, sadly, what the value of any of that is. Like, I'm just left in the dark, in the lurch. I don't know. Now, I'm not going to sit here on a stream and every time a super chat comes in, I'm not going to run a currency converter to figure out what's the biggest super chat of the day. You know what I mean? So instead, I just do latest super chat. You know? So it sucks because I wish it was an easier way to do it, but YouTube never converts. Over on Twitch, Twitch made everyone use bits. So bits were the relative currency there, so everyone knew what the equivalent was because it was just bits. You see? You can't really do that here. So I'm, you know, I wish there were an easy solution. There's not, besides me just sitting here constantly doing currency conversions on super chats, which I'm not going to do. It would be too disruptive. You know what would happen? People would literally come here on purpose with a VPN to do super chats in other currencies to see me sit here for an hour converting to figure out top super chat instead of playing the game. So that's why I don't bother with it, okay? But I agree with you. It would be cool. It would have an incentive. You want to get on the leaderboard. You want to be the top super chatter of the day. I agree with you. Jade says, I would love to see Red and Tifa in your team today. I agree. I want to use characters who I haven't used yet. I think Cloud is kind of boring, and I want to use other characters. So I know Tifa is really good for combos in Remake, so I want to try that. And Red, we don't even know how Red plays yet, so I want to try that today. Dr. Oink doing another super chat. There's so many unbalanced. There's so much shit that's unbalanced with this game. I can go on and on. I hope you have a good stream. I'll stick around. Hugs and kisses. Thank you to Dr. Oink for the super chats this morning. I'm sorry to hear the problems you're having in Tekken 8. All right. So, everyone, I think this honestly is a good place to adjourn the podcast for 2 reasons. Number 1, if we adjourn now, likely we'll get some extra gameplay of Final Fantasy VII. Number 2, I have to take a shit. So, I think that we should end the show now so I can go take that shit, and then we can jump into Final Fantasy VII without me having to take a shit, which would be very, very distracting. Fair enough? Now, just a reminder, if we hit the $100 tips goal today, yes, I will try the Cloud Strife wig, and we'll see how it is, okay? So, yes, that's possible today, and we're already got a good start on that, all right? And by the way, I totally forgot to mention this. We have a new emote. It's me with Cloud Strife hair in the chat. So you could use that during the Final Fantasy VII playthrough, all right? Cool. For any member, enjoy it. All right. Everyone, thank you so much. Thanks for discussing stuff with me. Thanks for understanding. And I'm excited for the rest of the week. I think this is going to be a great streaming week. And I hope that you guys will enjoy. I forgot to take the winter picture out of this. Damn it. But I got to take a shit, so I can't do it now. All right. Thank you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have some more info on Final Fantasy VII after the first real open world session today. And also, we'll see if we can hit those purple ranks in Tekken tonight. All right? Thank you all. See you tomorrow. Peace out.